Previously, on Blades of Mayari. We find ourselves in Kaylahon during a major harvest festival where we meet our four heroes. Dog has a weird nightmare and chases down a marketplace thief. Batara contemplates his life and makes food for a crowd. Hiraya finds themselves in a sticky situation, and Aether takes his first steps on a crucial and personal mission. An island appears off the coast of Kaylahon. It emits an ominous fog that quickly covers the city, and within it, you can hear the most terrible roars. An unnatural screech pierces the murmurs of the crowd around you. Castle Paro is positioned at a higher elevation, so Aether, you can see it all pretty clearly. The island that appeared off the coast of Kaylahon is sharp and jagged, with what looks to be a large mountain made of some sort of white stone in the center. Surrounding it at the base looks to be some sort of like dark red mass. Maybe it's coral, maybe it's crystal, or maybe it's something else. It's too far away to really get a beat on. What you do know, and what you can see for certain, is that the thick fog that is pouring out of the Whitestone Mountain has completely covered the bay. Aether, you see the fog kind of split, and it starts to move in an unnatural manner. There's the fog that's on the water side, and it starts to send out tendrils like roots. These tendrils move up corridors and roads in this serpentine, seemingly conscious manner, and it's making its way up to your position. By Sahisa immediately changes from her sagely demeanor to a leader who's seen war. She barks out commands to the teachers and students at Paro. Work with your Abayan to set up barriers around Paro. If you cannot set up barriers, send messages to the various datus and community leaders. Tell them to retreat here. Now, come on, now. Everyone else, prepare the interior castle for the injured. Ensure we have food and water. She turns to you, Aether, and says, Robinson, Aether, I will be indisposed for some time. We don't have enough guards to keep us all safe. We're going to need to concentrate on a few of these tasks like the barrier, so can you keep us safe from whatever comes?
Aether purses his lips for a second. He's kind of half listening to her and half listening to the rush of what sounds like wind that only he can hear, spirits speaking to him, clamoring, almost flooding his consciousness, but he manages to give out a nod.
Sahisa can see that you're listening to something else and kind of distracted by the cacophony that's going on. And she says, spirits are saying run.
They're telling me to go towards it.
Great. Okay. Well, let's get this started. She steps in front of you as Sahisa brings out these long fans made of dried grass and leaves. Sahisa, despite her age and despite her needing to use a cane to walk around, she takes a graceful starting position and she begins to dance. Her movements aren't just beautiful, they're imploring the spirits for help. And after a moment, spirits answer. The butterflies that were visible earlier, that was guiding you down the path into Paro have flooded back and flocked back around her, and they are imitating her moves as she dances this fluid, agile, and well-practiced dance. A shimmering, translucent barrier begins to expand from Sahisa's fingertips, and you can very clearly feel this presence of warmth, this sense of home starts to push out from her. And in the corner of your eyes, you see other Bailan doing very similar things. The tendrils have made it up to you. your position, Aether. And you see in the thickness of the fog fire. Claws scrape against the ground and stone. And a lupine figure starts to emerge from the thick fog. It has the same markings as a asonggubat, a witch dog. They're large but striped and with dark brown mixed up with their matted light brown fur. The most notable thing, though, is that they don't have a head. Instead, it's a ball of fire floating on top of an open throat, an esophagus, that's lined with fangs. This is a Pugot, the fiery headless hunter.
Is it the only one that's on the barrier at the moment?
You look around, and it is definitely not the only one.
How are the other Babailans and their Abayans looking?
The ones that are focused on the barrier are not seeing them. There are a couple of guards kind of stationed around. They're set up to try and protect some, but there are a lot of Baibailan, especially Sahisa, who seems to be the center of this barrier. They're unguarded.
I draw my Kampilan and I call upon Robinson, not vocally, but just like a feeling of tugging. I shoot up my hand and he curls out from it in a strike, and I'm aiming for his chest.
Sorry, this creature that came out, you're aiming for their chest?
Yes, and as I do that, and I send Robinson in for a strike, I call out to Babailan Sahisa and goes, "Something's here. Don't let your guard down."
In the corner of your eye, you see if Sahisa has heard you or can respond in any way, but she's in a complete trance. Our vision swings over to Splendor's Trove, the large sea cave that has a large pool of water that leads out into the sea. It's a temple for Tulai Lupa, the spirit of the sea around Timanduk. This is where we find Batara handing out the adobo to all the pilgrims, the adobo that's been simmering for some time. And the pilgrims have all kind of come down, and other keepers of the temple have come down to have some food. When the screech sounds, Batara, you and the other pilgrims can hear the crowds in the distance. Like the festive sounds have turned quiet and suddenly tense. Everyone stops eating and kind of looks towards the waterfall. Shouting starts, and it's hard to tell at first if people are celebrating again or if they're scared. The people around you begin to get nervous. Some begin to panic a little bit as they put their food down. They say their final prayers to Tulai Lupa and then make their way to the boats as they start to get them ready to sail through the waterfall back towards the main city. Popoi, one of the keepers of the temple, turns to you, Batara, and says, "Bro, you gotta head back, bro. I'll stay back with the other caretakers and make sure Tulai Lupa's okay. Maybe you can help lead the others back."
Yeah, I can do that. Maybe they're just. Yeah, I'll stay with the families. I know they need me there, and maybe it's not as bad as we think. Maybe they just want some food. I don't know. Well, I'll come out there and bring the people out.
As you finish what you're saying, you get a sense that Popoi didn't hear you. Like there's no, it didn't register. His widening eyes look past you to the opening of the cave that leads to the ocean. And Batara, as you turn around to kind of see what he's looking at, you see a thick fog begin to obscure the giant sea cave opening. It starts to roll onto the large central pool of water, though it seems like there's enough fog kind of rolling in that it would take up the whole temple cave, but there's something that's keeping the fog pressed down to the water surface. The calm pool is starting to become a little bit turbulent, and You could swear that the water is trying to like reach up to the fog and kind of pull it down with every wave. That's when you see it. You see bodies begin to rise up from the unknown depths. They all seem to be face down and not moving. From the thick fog at the center of the sea cave, you see unbelievably immense tentacles start to reach out.
But Batara just shocked at what this place was once a serene place of gathering and food. Now it looks like he's just thinking we're gonna be the food and what's going on, and the first thing he does is everybody just stand behind me, like, and he puts himself in between as much as he can between the tentacles and the people.
The people are panicking for sure. They're as shocked as you are at first. Like, what is going on? And after that initial kind of freeze, the panic sets in and they start to make their way to the boats. You calmly and kind of quietly try and guide everybody and give them those instructions, but it's hard to listen over the shouts and the screams. But they do see very clearly that you step through the crowd to give them a shield.
Yeah, my hands are like spread out, like making my like trying to play defense. Basically.
Yeah.
Like really,
Your like 8 foot wingspan is like trying to cover
yeah.
as much ground as possible.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Our vision shifts again. We're in the cove, a area that houses lots of craftspeople, fishers, a little bit more rundown area, and this is where the Tahoe vendor's warehouse is. It's the warehouse itself is a large thatched roof that is kept up by lots of slender wooden pillars, and despite its size, it's kind of well hidden, with the various houses and bahayakubos that are around, giving it a little bit of cover. Hiraya, you've made your way over to the water side, and you've finished washing off the brown sugar syrup from the Tahoe barrel that you were smuggled in. As you take in the fading sunlight, you begin to notice that everyone around you and in the streets and in their houses, they're looking towards the western mountains. There's this chain of little mountains that create the inlet and safe harbor of Kaylahon. They act as a kind of a wind and water break that has made Kaylahon so successful as a trade city. One minute you're looking at them, and the next they're engulfed in fog. This rapidly moving fog speeds across the bay. You've never seen anything like it. And people around you panic. They close their windows. They some of them run through the streets up towards kind of higher elevation. The Tahoe vendors are very quickly packing up their situation and like making it their way towards the Great Garden or the center of Kaylahon. I think the problem though is, despite the chaos that's around you, or most likely because of it, you feel it deeply. It's hard to move your body because of the weight of everybody's fear. There isn't enough time to run. You feel weighed down, and suddenly you're fully engulfed in the fog. You can barely see your hands in front of your face, and you hear people around you yelling for each other. They're yelling each other's names, trying to find each other in the thick fog, and some are trying to run away. You hear them running into wagons and carts and knocking over barrels and baskets. You finally get a sense of yourself. Your senses are working again. You're starting to hear more and more clearly, and that's when you hear a shriek and smell the metallic scent of blood. The unsettling thing is you also hear the sounds of what seems to be a wild animal. That's when you see it, this figure slowly moving out of the fog. It has a large hunched body carried by 4 limbs. The long elongated fingers are tipped with claws that scrape against the wood and stone and dirt. Their whip-like tail smashes nearby carts, and their bat-like face that's filled with innumerable number of sharp needle-like fangs are flanked by massive ears. They twitch and turn towards all the sounds of the people that are running in a blind panic. These are Sigbin, wolves that feast on shadows. The feeling of worry and fear that's burdening you is being competed with a sudden, deep hunger. The sound of panic and the smell of fear and blood is making your insides burn. And you can feel the saliva start to drip down the side of your mouth.
Hiraya tenses up. Their brow furrows strongly together and jaw clenched from the stress, overwhelmed by all the noise and the cacophonous emotion around them. They're face to face with this creature of sorts. And while they can feel the emotion and the fear of everyone around them, being an Aswang, creatures like this are things that bedtime stories are made out of. It's like seeing something that they've heard of in childhood stories, but right in front of them. It's a conflict because they feel the fear around them. But it's curious if they actually feel fear themselves in the situation.
Hiraya recalls some of these stories that she was told growing up. You figure that they're Sigbin. They're servants to Aswang. Usually, Sigbin herald the arrival of more Aswang. But this is an unusual situation.
Because this is a Sigbin, would I be able to communicate with it?
That's a good question. And we will see what happens after we swing our vision over to the Mahalaga Palenque. We're in the just off of the docks, huge marketplace that has a large thatched roof that's kept up by many, many slender wooden pillars. On the pillars, there are many carvings that speak to the story of Mahalaga and Baybaylan Kaylahon, and they speak to like the harvests and the plentiful fish, stories about Tulay Lupa. Between the pillars, you can see large textile canvases that act as walls that sort of help block out the sun or wind or rain. Down the center of the whole palenque, there are vendors selling produce, some with stands, some that just have like a woven mats called a benig. Along the outer edge, you see wooden stalls that seem a little bit more permanent. Some of these have roofs that are made of bamboo, while others have roofs of textiles. Near the entrance, there are more food vendors, but as you head back, or further back, there are more fishmongers and butchers. That's kind of where we find Dog. You're standing with the would-be thief in an out-of-view corner of the palenque, kind of near the fishmongers and near the butchers. They begin to like hand over the sack, and you're having kind of a friendly conversation. It's hot, it's humid, and the crowd itself isn't making the temperature situation any better. The somewhat orderly jostling starts to get a little bit more aggressive all of a sudden. The vibe of the market shifts pretty quickly as you see people from the streets like trying to run into the palenque. You see a crowd running away from the water side, away from the docks, and some are trying to find refuge in the marketplace. Confusion and frustration starts to build as arguments begin to flare. And that's when it happens. The marketplace begins to become a little foggy. But what's strange is that the space above the wooden stalls, kind of all the way up to the ceiling, is full of thick fog. The fog is so dense that you can't see the intricate bamboo support beams or the carvings on the crossbar framing anymore. It's kind of strange. You would think it's the kind of other way around. The heavy fog is on the ground level and it's a little bit thinner up top. It is unusual. You see suddenly a shadow dart out from the fog above and dive into the crowd. A body falls to the floor, cut down, and an already aggravated and tightly packed crowd just loses it. A stampede occurs in all directions as more of these shadows dive down from the fog into the crowd. It takes a moment, but you get a good look at what's happening. You see what looks to be these like large birds with elongated necks and wings tipped with claws. The skin around the heads look as if they're peeled back to reveal the skull underneath. Their long beaks lined with a serrated edge that converge to a needle point. Their talons are obviously dangerous, but what seems to be more surprising amongst all of this is that they have a wickedly long tongue that is lashing out and slicing wooden stalls as easily as it does the people below. These are wak-wak, vampiric birds of nightmare.
Dog kind of takes it all in, seeing these creatures drop down from the fog, and he clutches that bag of rice that he just received back from the thief. And I turn to the kid and I say, "Hey, kid, why don't you head home? Things are gonna get a little crazy, and I probably won't have time to cook all this rice anyways." And then he kind of turns away from the thief towards the creatures, and Dog clutches his harpoon that's resting on his lower back, and he kind of says with a smile, excitedly almost, he says, "I think I'm gonna have some chicken."
Oh my god.
and he just kind of like walks slowly as the crowd leaves and rushes past, going kind of in the opposite direction. So Dog kind of is this lone figure going against the crowd, excited for a fight.
These birds are my worst nightmare. So I thought, as I was describing it, I was like, oh man,
Yeah,
these birds.
they sound crazy.
Our vision swings back. Athir, we're back to you. These lupine creatures are starting to spill out of the fog. You see 4 of them, and you see 4 different Babaylan that are set up, dancing.
Are there any Babaylan that are not a part of this barrier dome?
Yes, there are some that are, they look like trainees, they look like students that are trying to get their Abayan to send messages. They seem concentrated, as if they're trying to send conversations through their Abayan. So there are some that are not part of the dome, for sure.
Well, most of the experienced ones are part of this dome chain.
Are part of this like barrier chain that they're trying to set up, yes. Yeah, what does Athir do?
Amidst all the chaos and the hissing in his head, he just shuts his eyes real tight. After striking one of the beasts back, he goes, "It's not really helping. All of you screaming at me all at once. Either help me or be quiet."
The cacophonous sound that's rushing past your ears, hurry attack, they're coming, attack. Use your sword, you have to save us, attack. And you hear them calm for a second and say, what is it that you need?
Help me take these beasts out. If we don't do that, then these people here that uphold your rituals, that uphold the connection with the city and the spirits, I don't think they're gonna make it. You need to protect them.
This like confusion that's around you is stopped very sharply as a minor kind of earthquake appears. It kind of shakes the ground below you, and Nuklub, the huge volcano that's towering behind you, that Castle Paraparo is near the base of, the volcano shakes, and the spirits all kind of quiet and say, Nuklub's right. You have our help. So what does Athir do?
And with that, with the spirits in line, he says a silent thank you to Nuklab. And he draws his Kampilan You heard the volcano. He looks to Robinson, and he steps out of the barrier.
Kuya, the safety's back there. Kuya, where we? Okay.
It's not gonna be safe if we can't protect them all.
It's also not safe if we're outside of the barrier. Okay, I got you. Okay, game. Let's do it. Okay, let's do it.
Athir looks at the one that he bounced off the barrier. He points his sword at it, and he spends a fate point to put on his snake skin.
Okay, so you have your 3 fate points go down to 2. And what does snakeskin do?
So snakeskin is one of my stunts. When in combat, I can get a +3 to my physique for the rest of the scene, and I must either take a mild consequence or spend a fate point to use it.
Nice. As things become more strenuous, I may ask you to keep using resources. But 1 fate point. The tattoos on your skin that look reptilian and serpentine glow slightly. In the same manner, Robinson also glows. It's as if like his form starts to melt a little bit into water that seems to feed into your tattoo. The water merges in with the ink and it goes all over your body as you feel stronger, more capable.
And kind of adjusts his shoulders a little bit as he's looking at this thing. It's nothing like anything he's ever fought before, but he lowers his stance. And he rushes it and takes a swing with his Kaylahon, hoping that the spirits will back him up in this fight.
We'll see. Give me
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Cool. Give me a fight roll, please.
Sure.
I'll roll a physique to defend, and I rolled a 2.
So that is a 5.
Your attack lands, so you're able to attack. You're able to succeed with style. So what that means is you succeed. This thing will take damage, and you'll get a temporary boost. You'll get a temporary aspect that you can invoke for free. What aspect would you like?
Could I get him prone? Because I also have a stunt called Kamba Ahas, so it's when I fight and succeed with style, I replace the boost with a mild consequence.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So if I fight with style, so I hit him, slash him across the chest with a Kaylahon, and I send Robinson to strike him as well to knock him down.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you make that strike, this lupine figure gets slashed across its belly, and Robinson kind of leaps out of nowhere and says, "For something, I don't know." And it starts to it pushes down this creature as it falls onto its side, laying prone. It tries to fight Robinson as this snake that seemed kind of small has suddenly changed shape and is this large white python is pushing down this lupine creature. It starts to fight a little bit, and with the 3 shifts, the 3 damage from your attack, its flame goes out and it starts to lay still and not move anymore. Robinson retreats back onto your back and is back into his small figure and says, Kuya, I know this isn't the time, but maybe I can work. Can we work together on like a battle cry? I think I need a battle cry.
Later.
Okay. Our vision shifts over back into the Splendor's Trove. Batara, you're standing in front of everyone with your arms stretched out wide, and as people are rushing past you, these bodies that are bubbling up from below aren't moving. They're kind of just like bobbing, very lifeless and still.
Oh.
And one of these enormous tentacles that are reaching out through the fog that's outside of the sea cave temple's opening grabs one of these bodies and hurls it at you. Batara, could you give me some sort of check to defend against this?
Okay, I'll use my physique.
Okay, so you're not gonna dodge, you're just gonna body it?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to like catch it. I want to try to catch it, like give it a hug or something.
Okay, That sounds good. That sounds good. I'm gonna send over a shoot attack essentially. Okay, so I rolled a 0. What did you roll, Batara?
A 2 fair.
A 2. Amazing. So you take no damage as this like dead body is flung towards you, and your arms are like wide open. So you're in a kind of perfect position to just kind of grab it, bear hug it out of the air. As you get a closer look, this body looks like it's been dead for some time, but it's kind of unusual. The clothing that it's wearing, the tattoos and markings that they have, even the jewelry that's still on this rotting body, it doesn't look like it's from Kaylahon. It doesn't look like it's from anywhere in Timanduk, from Natasoloy or the Ashen Fields. You still can't really pin down where this person is from. You look around to the other bodies, and all of them are different. A majority are from, you figure, different places. As you're grabbing this body and kind of it's in your arms, its head pops up and this lifeless body takes a bite at you. So give me give me a physique to try and kind of defend against this this attack. Got to beat a 0.
We could do it. We could do it. All right, I'm rolling, and I rolled a 2 again.
All right, your crocodile skin is too tough for this decrepit body to kind of get its teeth through, but it's starting to flail wildly as you're having a tough time holding it still.
And I kind of just like, the first thing was like of him taking a bite is like I take my pinga spear, like looking like I'm about to attack, but instead I take a leftover adobo and like shove it in his mouth.
That's awesome.
Cool. Okay, what are you trying to do this?
I don't know. I think he's hungry, so that's what I'm thinking of.
Okay, cool.
I'm hoping they satisfy like something or.
What do you? Okay, maybe. Okay. It sounds to me that you're trying to feed it so that it stops kind of attacking you. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Give me, what kind of skill? It sounds like you're trying to create an advantage. So you're trying to give yourself a more advantageous situation in your scenario.
Yeah.
What skill would be good here? Maybe like a rapport skill?
Yeah. I was thinking like rapport or empathy. I don't know if it's empathy, but it's like thinking.
No, you're not trying to feel what it's feeling.
Oh, okay.
You're trying to.
Yeah, try to make a good like a good connection.
Impression.
Yeah, a good impression. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, give me a rapport, please. You're trying to beat a 3 here. A good.
A 3.
This is definitely a good challenge. Yeah.
All right. Go dice roll.
Holy
I'm fantastic!
Oh, snap!
My cooking's good.
Oh shit!
So you rolled a 6, which is wild.
I'm fantastic, everybody.
So you definitely
Shift.
yeah,
though.
you definitely beat the challenge here, and you succeed with style.
Yeah,
So
style and all. Let's go.
what advantage are you? I guess the advantage that you're trying to create is like satisfied or like well fed. Maybe
I would say satisfied or like comrade. I don't know, like.
Maybe it's like not aggressive.
Something like where you calm them down or something.
Oh, pacify. Pacify is a good one. Yeah, so you have an advantage called pacify on this this corpse that's on you.
Yeah.
And
That's one way to make a friend.
Yeah.
Call me the pacifier. All right, here we go.
And you also have a boost. So what other advantage do you that you can invoke for free? So you can invoke pacify for free, and you also have a boost that you can do or you can have. What kind of advantage do you want Batara to have in this situation?
I guess now like alertness, so it's like be able to detect or like dodge now, like to
yeah, absolutely
kind of thing.
Alert is a great boost, so that is an advantage that you can invoke for free, for sure. Amazing. Our vision shifts and swirls and changes over to Hiraya. You are standing in front of this Sigbin. You can feel how hungry it is and what it wants to do. What are you doing?
Nice puppy. All right, man. Kind of just like looking at the Sigbin and talking to it. Oh god, it's so ugly.
It looks like a deranged version of Momo from Avatar.
Yeah.
It's Momo gone wrong. I'm just kind of like talking to it like amicably. Hey, buddy. Trying to remember as much as I can about what I know about Sigbin. Is there anything that I know about Sigbin and what they do?
Yeah. Give me. Would you like to use that knowledge to give you an advantage of some sort?
Heck yes.
Give me a created advantage action using lore. Or is there something else that you think? You can also use empathy to try and get a sense of how they're feeling, or like a better complete picture of how they're feeling that you can maybe use to your advantage.
Yeah, I was thinking like, what does a Sigbin want? Like, is it hungry or...
Oh, you can tell it's
okay,
hungry.
It's hungry.
It's
It's pretty...
You don't need
it's
a roll
pretty,
for that.
like, obvious.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
eating
yeah.
people. Makes sense. Yeah, let's do a roll for lore. See if there's anything that I know about Sigbin and how they operate.
Cool. You have a easier chance just because you know Sigbin, so give me a fair... You have to beat a +2, please.
Okay.
Yeah. What did you
A
roll?
-1?
-1, a poor lore roll. Unfortunately, the stories that you have been told are really biased. They say that Sigbin are weak, that they can't do anything without their Aswang masters, that they're basically kittens. So all the stories that you're told aren't really helpful in this situation.
Darn. All right, buddy. You are nothing that I imagined you'd be. I mean, I'm only half Aswang, but I'm hoping I can deceive this guy into thinking that I'm full Aswang.
You want it to kind of... What do you want to do with your deception?
I want it to like to deflect them. I want to drive the Sigbin away
Okay.
to make a clearing.
Cool. That sounds...
Yeah.
It sounds like you're trying to attack them mentally. So
Yes.
give me a deceive roll, and it will defend with will. So you're trying to like force it to stop doing what it wants to do.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm gonna roll a will.
And I'm gonna roll a deceive.
Yeah.
Don't mind me. I'm definitely full Aswang here.
yeah.
I rolled a 2.
Amazing. This Sigbin rolled a 0. So what do you say to like make it go away, essentially?
So, here's the thing. Big, scary looking Sigbin. Can I call you Benny? Benny. Nice, Benny. So, I don't know how many more of your friends are around if you're the only one, but me and these really delicious looking snacks of yours are just gonna go outside, and you stay here.
It listens to you.
Yes.
It starts to like lay down, not in like a it's comfortable, it's time to sleep, puppy, in a kind of a subservient manner. It you feel like you get the emotional sense that it recognizes your authority.
So I start. Can I see anything in the fog? Is it still foggy around?
It's super foggy still, but you can feel there's the emotions that you've been trying to kind of manage, that the prey that you're trying to remember are people are running behind you. There's less or not very many along the dockside. What you can get a sense of is that smell of blood is more prominent in front of you and less behind you.
Okay, great. I'm trying to just like stare him down to make sure until like the cove is clear and try and keep him in place.
As you do that, 3 others appear,
Gosh damn.
but the cove is starting to become clear. This one's kind of out of the fight. It just looks like it will listen to whatever you're saying.
Perfect.
Hey, it's me, Ross. Welcome back to the midroll. I was thinking, since this is our episode break, we can have a bit of merienda, which is essentially snack time. So for this midroll, I brought some polvoron, which is a shortbread made of toasted flour, powdered milk, sugar, butter, and deliciousness. There's also some coffee, since it can get a bit powdery. Anyways, thank you again for listening. You being here means the world to us. Please continue to let your friends and family know about our show. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. We also want to use this space to highlight Filipino projects and businesses that we love. This won't be traditional ads, since we won't be taking money to spotlight them. We just want to spread the word, elevate, and support. Our first spotlight is Kapit Coffee from Vancouver, Canada. On their website, Kapit describes themselves as a social venture promoting ethically sourced, farmer-first, direct trade coffee from indigenous growers and batch roasted on unceded Coast Salish territories, otherwise known as Vancouver, Canada. They work with a small group of native farmers in the Philippine Highlands to bring some of the most unique coffees from the Philippines. I love their coffee. It's often what I give for gifts. If you're thinking about picking up a bag of beans, I recommend Manong George's Kapit or their Bean There, Done That 3-pack. We're super inspired by the work that Kapit Coffee does, so check them out at kapit.coffee. KAPE.coffee. Now, back to the show. Our vision shifts very quickly over to the palenque that is in chaos, as Dog walks through the crowd and Stampede towards these flying nightmares. What do you do, Dog?
Sorry, how many are there again that have dropped down?
Oh, yeah. There are 4.
There's 4, okay. And
Yeah.
are they grouped together? Or are they quite far apart?
It's kind of hard to get a sense of how, just because they're dipping in and out of the fog. So you figure there's 4 right now, but they more are working like raptors, where one swoops in one area and the crowd kind of shifts, and there's another that swoops down and the crowd wants it punched.
Gotcha.
So they're very intelligently working together.
Okay. Well, Dog is going to walk towards, I guess, the closest one that has swooped down that he can see.
Yep.
And I am going to, with my harpoon, I'm going to try to ride one of these things. So I'm going to use
Okay,
I'm going to use my harpoon to kind of grappling hook myself from one of the kind of bamboo beams, if there's one that's visible from the fog.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm gonna harpoon myself up and try to ride on the back of that closest one. I'd also like to mention one of my stunts is harpoon traversal, which is +2 to athletics when traversing difficult terrain.
This sounds like difficult terrain, the back of one of these things. So give me an overcome, because you're trying to essentially you're trying to land, like get up to a vantage point, land, and then hold tight. So either an athletics would work here, just to like land, and then I'll have you do ride checks later on to kind of literally fly it.
Gotcha. Okay.
This is not easy. So like
Nothing never is for Dog.
These things are very quick. You'll have to beat a +4, a great challenge here. Yeah.
+4. Okay.
Got to beat a 4.
Oh, lucky for me, I rolled a. Oh, and do I get that +2?
Yeah, with athletics. Yeah, absolutely.
I believe in you.
Jeez, your rolls today.
Lucky for me, I rolled an 8.
Oh, shift.
Legendary.
So describe it. You're walking, you get this idea. What is
All
done?
right, all right, so Dog, having just really in such a cool way walked away from that thief that he's now just blessed with a bag of rice. Crowd is surging past him, pulls out his harpoon, spots a very nice bamboo beam kind of jutting out from beneath the fog, and he locks onto that point, hurls his harpoon. It sticks perfectly into that bamboo beam, and he uses that, like, he starts to pick up speed, and he swings himself from that grappling point, perfectly soaring through the sky, a Nahau cloak just rustling in the wind, looking like a phoenix rising from the crowd. And with that momentum, the harpoon retracts from the beam, and in one fell swoop, he catches it and lands majestically just right on top of the closest bird creature.
Amazing. It doesn't even really notice you're there. You kind of just land.
Of course it doesn't.
You figure out its trajectory. You land exactly to match its speed and velocity, and it just kind of keeps moving in the direction that it was going. What boost would you like to have in the situation? Because you succeeded with style.
Yeah, of course I did. Such style. I'm gonna go with a boost that I think is very fitting for Dog, and that's called Panache, which is a boost when Dog succeeds with style. He just gets this bit of confidence in his abilities. He knows who he is and knows what he's capable of, and so that boost gives Dog +2 to his next attack.
Yeah. Or +2 to any other skill check.
Oh, I guess
that we'll have in the future. Yeah, absolutely. The whole situation is observed. You see this small child holding a straw doll, kind of go, wow, as you soar over, land perfectly onto this nightmare bird, and
I give that child a nice wink.
Yeah. the child is like enamored, and you see the mother pick them up and like, what are you doing? Come on, let's go. as if like their eyes are still fixated on you as you're riding this bird. Our vision shifts over back to Aether. You are surrounded by these 4 creatures. Oh no, the one is dead.
Okay.
3 more are left that are starting to make their way towards the barrier. Let's see. I think because you're distracted with and taking out one of them tries to attack the barrier. The other one actually tries to get through it, and it's able to kind of squeeze through what seems to be this like wall of wind that is pushing it out, and it gets like sliced by a butterfly. The barrier flickers a little bit, and you can see by Bailency he's to try to get back into form, but it takes a lot of energy for her to do that. Aether, you figure that she won't be able to keep this up if more and more of these Pogot try and get through the barrier. Another one lunges and attacks you. So give me a physique or athletics if you want to dodge out of the way. Trying to beat a 0 here.
That's a 5 for the physique.
With a 5, amazing. You succeed. It tries to attack. It's like flames are intense. It's trying to like bite you, or trying to get your arm into its gullet that's full of teeth as its flames try to burn your skin as it's trying to swallow you. But your skin just pushes against it. That liquid that was flowing through all of your tattoos bubbles up, and you feel cool and safe in that protection. What are you doing with here?
I reach out to the spirits once more, and I ask a water spirit for help. As I take my arm and I lift it and I try to punch it into the ground with my arm.
Sounds good. So you're trying to invoke some magic?
Yes.
Amazing, thank you. So with that, what effect are you trying to do with this magic?
I'm just seeing if I can dull this flame with water. Or magical water, to be more accurate.
Absolutely. The water that is kind of around you and in your pack and in the air condenses around your fist as you punch. So feel free to... Are you wanting to use like lesser magic here or kind of a more significant minor magic?
Just a lesser magic to test it.
Great. Yeah. So give me a fight roll, please. Add that +1.
Sure. Oof, that's a 0, good friend. That did not roll well. Oh, sorry, that's a 4.
Amazing. So this lupine creature with a 0, it can't defend against it as your punch kind of douses the flame and then hits the center mass of the body of this creature as it collapses down on the ground. You hear very briefly the water as it evaporates. Your utang, your debt will be collected. And Robinson responds, Oppa, okay, I'll remind.
And Aether gets up and shakes his hand. He's like, well, I'm already trying to help. But he turns to face the last one and readies his sword.
Let's resolve this. What are you doing, Aether? You also got a crazy boost, so feel free to have a boost here.
Sure.
You succeeded with style.
As he turns around to look at the final one, I think for him, it gets quiet. He's received help from the spirits, and he is utterly grateful just for their support. And he looks at the others scrambling to get what they need. He grits his jaw, and he just shoots Robinson at it for a strike towards its neck before following in for one last blow.
Give me that shoot roll, please.
Does the shoot have the bonus as well?
Which bonus?
Because I have the succeed with style.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Use that boost for sure. So add that +2.
That is a 5.
Amazing. Yeah, describe it.
So he just shoots Robinson at it and aims for the neck to slam it against the shield where he knows a spirit is waiting.
This creature collapses against the barrier that's been set up. It's already not moving. The flame is out before it hits it, but as it tries to pass through the barrier, more of these butterflies kind of cut through the remaining of its corpse. A horde of Pugot begin to appear out of the fog. This growling mass of fire and fang begin to encroach on your position. Aether and Robinson get a clear sense that this fight is far from over. Our vision shifts very quickly over to Batara. This creature that you're holding is just munching away at the adobo that you gave it.
It's a finger licking good. Just kidding.
Just get all the sauce. It's trying to eat through it quickly so it can bite you again. The people around you that are fleeing are starting to get purchased and head through the waterfall. So out of seeming desperation, out of a change in focus or vibe, these tentacles just start to grab more of these bodies and hurl them at you. So you're gonna take 3 shoot attacks.
Can I use? Well, I don't know if it only doesn't only work for one person. The alert.
Only for 1. Yes, absolutely.
All right, we'll keep it for the last one. So what am I? Is it physique again or athletics?
You can do physique or athletics. You have to beat a 3, a 4, and a 3.
Okay, I'm gonna do my physiques. First roll. I rolled a 6.
Beats it, absolutely. Roll me the other 2, please.
Second roll.
Jesus.
I'm an epic.
Epic.
7. I rolled a 7.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, you beat the 4.
All right, one more roll from me.
Another one.
I believe in the heart of the cards. Go dice roll. Oh, I got a fair.
It fails here.
But I'm gonna use my alert so I can beat it.
Absolutely. So describe what happened. There's the tentacles start to just volley these corpses at you.
So as all So they throw it like one at a time basically, but the first one I put the guy down. I'm like, oh, enjoy your food. so
Okay.
so I lay him down, and then and he's just there eating. The first body comes at me, and I fantastically just do a little spin towards the water and dodge it. And then the next one, it's like going towards my head, so I kind of do like a little duck under, like a little roll towards the water. And then the last one's coming, and then I just dive into the water. So I completely dodge it, and they throw the body onto the land. Yeah, so I use my, although I'm like very big, it looks like I'm like kind of like slithering through the bodies being thrown at me, and I end up in the water.
Absolutely. So as you dip, dodge, and duck and dodge, you gracefully dive into the water where you're way more comfortable. And you try and take a look at the tentacles. They seem to return to a singular source. So this seems to be a single creature is kind of what you figure. But you can't really see the base of these tentacles. You just kind of assume from the angle and trajectory of these massive tentacles.
I can see this one thing. I have my stunt, which is Crocodile Man. So I get a +2 in athletics when I'm in water, and I use it to just go straight towards the middle source of the tentacles and just attack. I'm gonna take, basically, as I dive in, I bring my kind of Pinga spear forward, and I do like a little torpedo swim straight towards the middle of where the tentacles are coming from.
That sounds amazing. So are you gonna like torpedo it, or are you gonna jump out of the water and throw your spear? How are you going to attack?
I'm gonna be attacking underwater.
Cool.
So I'm gonna grab the spear, thrust it forward, and just swim straight like a torpedo underwater.
Yep, that sounds good. So first you have to swim and traverse this tentacle and dead body infested bit of water. Right, so if you can roll me a athletics check, and because of your comfort with the water, we'll have the target be 1.
I rolled a 3, a good.
With a 3, you definitely are able to do it. So you have a boost that you can use on your attack roll. And let's follow it up with your attack. Roll me a physique.
And my attack.
You're trying to beat a 1 here.
I could do that for you. I rolled a 3.
Amazing. Are you going to use your boost here as well?
Yes, I'll use my boost.
Okay, so with a 5, you beat it by 4 shifts, which is crazy. You swim like a bullet through the water. Your comfort and ease of the water is obvious, but you actually feel like you're moving faster than you would. For a moment, you see this like stingray shape of water appear below you to kind of propel you forward as you make purchase to something huge and tough, but also kind of gooey that is just beyond the fog. You hear a shriek that fills the cavern. It resonates terribly, and suddenly these huge tentacles that are flailing about you retract very quickly. They retract back into the fog, and you hear a massive shape swim away from your location.
Yeah.
Our vision shifts over to Hiraya. Hiraya, you are in front of a Sigbin that is essentially out of the fight. It listens. It seems to be eagerly listening to your next command, while 3 others kind of appear out of the fog.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no. I feel conflicted. For personal reasons, I refrain from killing things as much as possible. So the stress of the situation is kind of getting to me. But I figured, alright, if Benny here is listening, I wonder if I can deceive the other 3 as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Worth giving it a try. So what do you say? How do you set this up?
I kind of clear my voice. Hi there. Like an awkward car salesman
So sure, yeah.
or an awkward Bible salesperson. Have you heard of the Datu Bakal? You know, the infamous Datu Bakal. Yeah, that's my father. Yep, do you see the resemblance? Right. You could take a whiff of my pheromones too. Definitely Aswang. Definitely. Oh, that's a little too close. Okay, I can feel your. Oh God, your breath is so bad. That's terrible. What did you even eat? Well, don't answer that. Not like you can. So I'm just kind of talking up. Hiraya's like, you know, keeping their arms out, but also still trying to show a more of a strong and confident stance.
Okay, cool. So you're surrounded by these Sigbin who are listening to your words. So they're not attacking you right away, but they're still very cautious. Give me a deceive roll. This is going to be a challenging one because there's 3 of them. You're trying to convince a pack to stop attacking, essentially. So you need to beat a great challenge. You have to beat a 4. The good thing about the situation, though, is Hiraya, you can use like 2 fate points here to give you a bunch of boosts. Your high concept is illegitimate child of Datu Bakal, because you said his name. And
Hey, Daddy.
Yeah, your daddy. And you can use protect the babies here because you're trying to not have them die, essentially.
Right.
So if you want to use 2 fate points, you get a +4 right off the bat.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
So you'll use 2 fate points. It brings it down to 1 as your remainder, and then you can have +4 essentially to your deceive.
Legendary, dude.
Amazing. You essentially rolled a 10 here. So these 3 take up the same position of subservience to you. And as you see others start to appear out of the fog, they also start to take that same position. They're like listening to your next command, essentially.
What?
Hiraya, you can hear that the crowd is leaving, but now you essentially have a small army around you, and that feeling of hunger is incredibly intense. What do you do?
This is so problematic. And I kind of look around, I'm like, you're all hungry too. And I'm hungry. And as I kind of look towards Benny, the first one, I kind of look at him and I'm like, you know, you're not so bad looking. Now that you're just not snarling at me. I hesitantly kind of pat his head and kind of talk to myself and to the Sigbin. What do you guys think we should do? It would be wrong if you ate people. I don't really want you to do that. But also...
It's not really responding to you.
It's not at all.
It's just kind of looking at you like this.
Just got a soulless look in its eye. I'm still talking to them like they are responding to me like a bunch of dogs.
Yeah.
Let's go outside and let's see if anyone needs help. Because I figure during chaotic times, it's like the perfect time for people to also be pillaging or stealing and doing things. So if we are going to eat someone, I might as well eat someone who is probably more worth eating. And then it would be less on my conscience.
Okay. That sounds good. Okay, so what happens here is that this small army of Sigbin start to get up onto their feet, and they start to follow you as you walk through the fog. The people that are running away start to see this pack of monsters being led by you as you walk very casually through the fog. Ooh. You see a couple of looters taking advantage of the situation, taking from the dead bodies or stealing from warehouses and homes nearby. You see somebody pinning down a person trying to take their things. What does Hiraya do here?
I assess kind of like the surrounding areas using my sense of empathy to see where there's most distress. And I kind of signal to Binny and the Jets.
Jeez.
Yeah, as I'm walking out of the fog, it's just actually that. It's like a very Guardians of the Galaxy, like...
The piano starts playing in the background.
Sure, yeah.
Benny! And I signal to the looters and the assailants, and with like a little flash of my red eyes and a nod, I say, "Sick 'em, boys."
These Sigbin go nuts. They very quickly and efficiently take down all of the people, all of the targets that you have identified. And the few that are running away, the innocents that are trying to find space and safety, they're horrified. Our vision flashes very quickly to Dog riding through the air on the back of this nightmarish bird. What are you doing, Dog, to kind of deal with the situation?
As our vision shifts over to Dog, he's enjoying the ride. So the screen shifts and he's like, "Woo! This is awesome!" And he's got his harpoon in one hand. And I'm gonna get ready to attack one of the other bird creatures that's nearby. So
Yeah, absolutely.
he's not just cheering.
Sure.
He's also very carefully targeting his next attack.
So they're actually pretty closely bound together. Like you can see them as you fly through the fog. You get a better sense of their position. They seem to group up together and then they strike below. So they're in pretty close proximity. If you wanted to try and get them all at once.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh, I love this. I'm gonna wait for the birds to kind of watching their trajectories and them diving in and out of the fog. I get a sense of where they're gonna be at their closest to one another. And meanwhile, Dog kind of lets his harpoon go with a bit of slack on the rope, and he just starts swinging it over his head, like kind of like a lasso, riding this flying bird.
Okay.
All cowboy-esque. And as soon as the other three birds kind of reach their closest point, Dog, with this kind of circular harpoon swinging helicopter motion, is going to try to rope all of the other three birds kind of in one maneuver, kind of roping like their ankles together, like right across their feet.
Yeah, maybe their wings. That's
or
probably
wings.
a good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah.
To kind of keep them bound. Right, so you see that the birds actually come together to a pretty heavy-duty wood beam. They roost for a moment, and then they like dive into the crowd. So the bird that you're riding actually doesn't know you're there still. So it's doing the same. It's coming back to this collective roost position, inadvertently bringing their doom towards it. So feel free to give me, I think an overcome here will do the trick. So you're trying to wrap everybody together, all of these nightmare birds together, maybe to like the beam or together so that they're not flying away anymore. This is
So maybe like a shoot? Would this be a shoot?
you can definitely argue a shoot. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And remember, you have your boost
I
from
do have-
earlier and your fate points.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring to the group, I like the word panache, but I feel like the boost should be changed only in name, not function, to swagger.
Sure.
I just feel like that fits.
Sure, swagger feels good.
So I'm going to take advantage of that swagger boost I got earlier, which gives me +2 to this shoot check.
You need to beat a 5 here because you're trying to do a significant action.
You could do that. You could do it.
Well. It's lucky that I rolled a 8.
God,
Da-da-da-da.
jeez. Okay, another legendary roll.
I knew you could do it.
Hold on, let me check
Wait, let
these
me
numbers.
double check these numbers. Yeah, this looks.
It's correct. These numbers are
From the
correct.
legendary.
Shoot.
So you get a
Oh yeah, +3 for my shoot, and then +2 for the bonus.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I originally rolled
Yeah.
a 3, +3 for
Yeah.
my skill, and then
From the
+2 for
bonus, yeah.
So it's an 8, everyone. It's an 8.
Describe it.
All right. So so as my bird kind of joins the other 3 on the roost here, dog is still swinging kind of the helicopter harpoon, and just as mine is about to land on the roost, I kind of let go of the rope, and the harpoon just gracefully swings all the way around the wings, wrapping around the wings of each of the 4 birds, tying all of them essentially to the beam that they're resting on.
Nice. They bulk and push against the rope that you've very expertly tied with a very significant and heavy duty sailor's knot. They're not going anywhere. Pardon the pun. The fog starts to clear a little bit in your area, as if the fog itself is conscious and moving. It retracts from you, giving a bit of clarity on what you're doing. And the crowd, though they're still in a panic, there are some that see what you've done, and they're cheering and clapping and are amazed at what's going on.
As they should.
That celebration quickly changes as more birds spill out of the fog. You figure, Dog, that this is going to take some time, but I think you have a very clear and commanding control of the situation in this case. The day wears on, or the night wears on. The sun sets behind the mountains, behind the horizon, as this situation, this invasion continues. Though the 4 of you are finding success in your individual kind of moments, you can't protect an entire island, at least not right now. And as you walk and make your way through, you can see that there are bodies and animals and people just strewn about the place. You do what you can, but the festive decorations have been replaced with destruction. Your bodies are bruised and bloodied and cut. Maybe not Hiraya's, because you're leading a giant pack of Sigbit. But the fog begins to roll back. The creatures that have jumped out of them, have appeared out of them, retreat into the fog. And it seems to very quickly return to the island that's appeared. The sky is clear. Mayari the moon, the co-ruler of the world, has replaced her brother Apolaki in their position in the sky. She looks down on Kaylahon with a compassionate eye and flickers ever so slightly. You look out into the distance, and the island that rapidly appeared and has been the source and cause of all of this destruction, it's still there. The most obvious question begins to zip around people's minds. Will there be another attack? That worry makes the air thick with fear. That's where we'll end today.
Whoa! Diving out.
Whoa! Thank you for joining us on this episode of Blades of Mayari. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.